Medicare if you qualify. Call right now for free information.
You're watching NBC 12 from where you live. Live on NBC 12, this is Newswatch 12 Today.
Good morning, and thank you for starting your day with us. I'm Jackie Smith.
And I'm Michael Lodeholtz.
Well, the smoke didn't seem to be too terrible.
No, thankfully it wasn't too bad yesterday. I was out and about, in the nature, and I didn't, have too many difficulties, thankfully.
Yep, but today there are some storms trying to make their way through, and we have Devin Biggs in the Weather Center. And Devin, I mean, it looks interesting. The sky looks interesting behind you.
Yeah, there's some clouds out there. Thankfully, we're done with the smoke, though. When I saw the moon this morning, it was its usual color, so that's kind of nice to see this morning. But yes, clouds moving in this morning, just scattered clouds, so we have no showers and storms nearby, at least at this point. But again, our sky cam looking toward Rhinelander, though, and kind of looking north as well. We're seeing some clouds out there, but again, looking pretty quiet as we do start things off. This morning, there are some areas of dense fog. We have to look further towards Anaco, though, and even Shawano for some of those areas that are seeing some fog, and we might see a little bit more developing moving forward later on. But for now, though, here's the big picture. So clouds currently developing. There's one lone storm in parts of the UP today, and that's tracking southeast right now. It might get close to Marquette before we're all finished up there. But as we do zoom things into your temperatures, again, we do have lower 60s in parts of Land O'Lakes and also Manitowish Waters. We have middle 60s in Rhinelander already. Note it's 5:01 in the morning, and temperatures are already pretty warm in some 50s and 60s further down to the south. So we'll be chilling on your patio today. All right, not too bad with regards to the temperatures, though. We'll be warming up in the lower 80s today. Increasing clouds today. Chances for showers and thunderstorms will exist today.
For the first time in history, a grand jury has indicted a former president of the United States for trying to overturn an election that he lost.
Tuesday's indictment is the third against former President Trump, centering on his actions leading up to the deadly January 6th Capitol attack. Wisconsin is at the center of the sweeping indictment. According to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, Trump's strategy to stay in office after voters elected Joe Biden president in 2020 hinged on 84 people in 7 states, including Wisconsin. In 2020, Biden beat Trump by about 21,000 votes in the Badger State. But Trump sought and paid for recounts in Dane and Milwaukee County, which confirmed Biden's win. For months, special prosecutors brought witnesses in front of a grand jury, several of whom appeared under subpoena, ranging from low-level aides to Trump's Vice President Mike Pence, as they built their case.
My office will seek a speedy trial so that our evidence can be tested in court and judged by a jury of citizens. In the meantime, I must emphasize that the indictment is only an allegation and that the defendant must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law.
The former president has been charged with 4 counts: conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to impede the January 6th congressional proceeding, conspiracy against the right to vote and to have that vote counted, and obstruction of and attempt to obstruct and impede the certification of the electoral vote.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court is now controlled by a liberal majority following the ceremonial swearing in of its new justice. Tuesday, Judge Janet Protasewicz was sworn into the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Protasewicz was elected to a 10-year term in April, a victory that will swing the state's highest court to a liberal majority for the first time since 2008. This comes after a spring election that saw the highest turnout on record. Much of that turnout is due to high-profile issues, such as the state's legislative maps and abortion.
My biggest thank you goes to the people of the state of Wisconsin for placing your trust in me and granting me this responsibility. I look forward to serving you as a member of this court.
She is filling the Supreme Court seat previously held by Pat Rogensack.
Wisconsin Representative Tom Tiffany has signaled that he won't be running against Tammy Baldwin for her Senate seat. Tiffany announced the decision in an interview with the Northwoods River News. Instead, the representative says he will focus on re-election for his 7th District House seat. Tiffany is now the 2nd Wisconsin representative to turn down a run against Senator Baldwin. Representative Mike Gallagher, who represents the Green Bay area, turned down a chance to run earlier this year. Currently, the only candidates to announce their candidacy are Madison businessman Eric Hovde, Franklin businessman Scott Meyer, and former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark.
2 Muslim women attacked in public in Milwaukee say they believe that they were the victims of a hate crime. Part of the attack was captured on cell phone video, and these 2 women, along with their family, were at a Cathedral Square Park on Sunday night. While at the park, the victims say that the 2 women approached asking them where they're from. The victims say after telling the women to mind their own business that the 2 women attacked them. The victims provided medical records from a hospital visit, which details how one victim suffered a fractured nose after a physical assault. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office says deputies arrested the 2 women attackers.
The United States gets knocked down a peg by Fitch ratings.
And that could cause reverberations on everything from the mortgage rates Americans pay on their homes to contracts carried out all across the world.
John Lawrence reports.
Apparently, there's some doubt about U.S. debt. Fitch Ratings downrated its U.S. debt rating on Tuesday from the highest AAA rating to AA+. This move from Fitch means the U.S.'s default changes from highest credit quality to very high credit quality. Officials at Fitch say the lower grade is due to what it calls, quote, a steady deterioration in standards of governance over the last 20 years, including the long-standing but eventually resolved debt ceiling battle between President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Fitch also said the U.S. government, quote, lacks a medium-term fiscal framework unlike most peers and has a complex budgeting process. The Biden White House issued a statement saying it disagrees with Fitch's decision, saying it, quote, defies reality. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen criticized the downgrade, calling it, quote, arbitrary and based on outdated data, while former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers called the move from Fitch, quote, bizarre and inept. In 2011, S&P dropped the U.S. debt to a AA+ rating, which was the first time the U.S. lost its perfect credit rating. That grade hasn't changed since then. Moody's, the third major credit rating agency, still has the U.S. with a AAA rating. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Coming up in international news, learn how powerful winds and heavy rain are bringing some pretty tough circumstances to over 600,000 people in Japan.
Plus, we'll share more on the evacuees from a West African nation amidst political crisis. We'll take you around the world when we come back.
Our biggest fires come from fireworks.
Let's go.
You never know how dangerous it is.
We got to make sure everybody's out.
Square! Everybody back up.
It's a season like we've never seen. They're neck and neck. My goodness, it's so close, man. Oh my gosh, yes! Oh my gosh! We have a winner, $1 million.
Hi, I'm Brian from Creative Granite. When I need the forecast from Minocqua, I go to WJFW.com for my hometown forecast.
Your hometown weather, available 24/7 at WJFW.com.
9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors. For your connection to the UP, watch 906 Outdoors Saturday mornings at 7:30.
Let's dive into Lake Minocqua for an evening showing of Dirty Dancing August 12th at Torpy Park. Watch the movie from on land, by boat, or float on the water. Pre-show beach party starts at 5:30 p.m. For ticket and event information, visit letsminocqua.com/dive-in.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. And good news, we can only see the sky and the clouds out there. Thankfully, there's no smoke in the atmosphere. That is all moved out of here, so the air quality will be good moving forward, or moderate. One of those will be okay. But moving forward, though, we are seeing some clouds over in parts of Rhinelander, too. This is our camera looking off towards the north. And for a point of reference, that's the paper mill. And that right there, that little blue, or that green spot right there, excuse me, is the Oneida County Courthouse. But for now, though, we're seeing a few showers and storms developing in parts of the UP this morning, tracking off towards the south and east. It may get close to Marquette before it moves out. But otherwise, we're just seeing a few clouds out in a few spots this morning. We'll be watching for a few chances of showers and storms. But meanwhile, let's look at this for a minute, though. Look at this. This is a front right here of showers and storms kind of moving over the same area. We call this training, and we're seeing that in Iowa and Missouri this morning, where flash flood warnings are posted because of rainfall falling over the same areas, and a lot of rainfall with that, too. That will not hit us, I promise. We just have this little boundary just off to the north, though, that'll move in our direction with a few showers and storms possible. We could definitely use more rainfall, though. It's been dry recently, but we need a good widespread soaking rain. We're not going to get a soaking rain, but we are going to get some rain, say, with a few scattered showers and storms developing later this morning into the afternoon period. And then later this evening, too, maybe a few more storms left over before it starts to fizzle out. Once we head towards your Thursday, a few more showers and storms possible during the afternoon period. That gets out of here Thursday night and then Friday morning, starting off on the quiet side. But for now, though, some of the storms today could get on the stronger side. There is a darker green out, which means a marginal threat for some of the storms to get on the stronger. So we're talking maybe some gusty winds and maybe some hail with some of those storms before we're all finished up. So we'll make sure to keep an eye on that throughout the daytime today. But temperatures right now already mild for 5:11 in the morning, right? Lower 60s in Land O'Lakes and Manitowish Waters, mid 60s in Rhinelander. Some other spots in the 50s and 60s to start things off this morning. Average high temperature, it's, as of yesterday, ticked down to 79 degrees. We'll still reach the lower 80s today, but the mid 80s before your Thursday, still feeling a little bit warmer. Lower 80s again Friday into Saturday. A little bit of a cool down on the way, though. Sunday, Monday into Tuesday, feeling nice. Open the windows, though. Some 70s on the way, and hopefully that wildfire smoke stays away also. The UV index forecast for today, it's going to be down a bit because of the clouds at a 4. Moderate, a burn time of 45 minutes. So hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, shade. Keep that handy, though. You might still need those to avoid any kind of sunburn, as you can still get sunburned courtesy of the clouds. Otherwise, though, allergies, we're keeping an eye on that as well. Not much of a change from yesterday, though. Still expecting moderate tree allergies today, and grass and weeds still not too bad, but mold, we're expecting that to increase, so from moderate to high coming up soon. But your forecast for today, partly cloudy, some scattered thunderstorms on the way, highs in the low 80s, and a southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with a few thunderstorms possible early, with lows in the lower 60s, and the wind overall looking nice and calm. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast, a few more storms possible Thursday before we calm down Thursday night. Friday and Saturday, we're looking pretty good. A few more storms Sunday, then Monday and Tuesday, we're looking dry, temperatures looking pretty nice by that point. Michael?
Thank you, Devin. Powerful Typhoon Kanan slammed into Japan's island of Okinawa, bringing heavy winds and rain on Wednesday. Officials have ordered more than 600,000 residents to evacuate as the storm took out power lines, leaving households without any power. The slow-moving storm is steadily weakening, though, but could potentially bring rainfall and high wind gusts over China's eastern Zhejiang province and along the coast near Shanghai in the next few days. Typhoon Kanan comes just days after the region was hit by Typhoon Doksuri. And hundreds of European nationals are being evacuated from Niger in the wake of a military coup that has plunged the West African nation into a political crisis and rattled the broader region. 2 Airbus A330 planes dispatched by France arrived at the airport in the country's capital, Niamey, on Tuesday afternoon. At least 262 people, including 12 infants, have already left the country on board one of the planes, according to the French foreign minister. Several other European nations are simultaneously working to evacuate their own citizens or collaborate in the French effort. And today is expected to be a special day at the London Zoo on International Golden Lion Tamarin Day. 3-month-old kumquat will hop off mom's back to explore its habitat for the very first time. Kumquat was named for the vibrant colors it shares with the fruit. The baby lives with parents in the London Zoo's temperate, controlled rainforest. Out in the wild, golden lion tamarins are endangered because of habitat loss and the illegal pet trade. It's estimated that about 1/3 of the wild population originated from the conservation zoos.
And coming up in medical news, find out about yet another shortage affecting pharmacies. Plus, we'll share tips on what you can do to get your children prepared to head back into the classroom. Your health news when we return.
Get up to 56% off list at our huge 56th anniversary sale at Slumberland Furniture. Plus, enter to win a free car. Living rooms, bedrooms, mattresses, and more. 56th anniversary sale at Slumberland Furniture.
Jake, I can't believe how big this place is.
American Marine Showroom is so big, you can literally run around the 3 giant showrooms of boats and pontoons.
I mean, it's huge.
We will beat any competing price by $500 and we'll match deposits up to $1,000. There is so much summer fun left. Make it even better by picking out your new boat from the biggest selection and biggest showroom in the USA, only at American Marine Shawano.
Carry the Cross Co. is very pleased to announce the 2023 Inspire Heal Unite concert to be held August 11th at Merrill Normal Park at 6:30 p.m. Our leadoff performer will be King's Conquest, a new and upcoming Christian group from central Wisconsin. Rhett Walker and his band will be the premier performer this year. Rhett is a 3-time GMA Dove Award winner and Artist of the Year, Contemporary Album of the Year, and Contemporary Song of the Year. Concert admission is free. See our website at carrythecrossco.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Wausau Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our unique doctor-supervised program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back safely, naturally, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, no hypnosis or surgery, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Hi, I'm Carrie from Wittenberg. I lost over 100 pounds and 68 inches. I know the secret. Prior to starting this program, I suffered with chronic migraines, lots of joint aches and pains, didn't have the energy to be the mom that I needed to be. My energy level's back, my confidence is back. I would definitely recommend this program to anyone looking for a change.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Incredible mattress deals. Plus, enter to win a free car at the huge 56th anniversary sale at Slumberland. Up to 56% off list. Amazing deals on mattresses, pillows, sheets, and more at Slumberland. It's a big deal.
And welcome back. Artificial intelligence detected more breast cancers than doctors with years of training and experience. That's according to a new early-stage study published Tuesday in the journal The Lancet Oncology. The study also deemed that AI appears to be safe to use in breast cancer detection, while it potentially could cut doctors' mammogram reading workload almost in half. The researchers looked at scans from more than 80,000 women in Sweden who underwent a mammogram between April of 2021 and July of 2022. Half of the women were assigned to a group in which AI read the mammogram before it was analyzed by a radiologist, and the other just used radiologists without AI. The group whose scans were assisted by AI found 20% more cancers than the group without AI assistance. And federal agencies are calling on drug makers to boost manufacturing of prescription stimulants amid an ongoing shortage. A surge in prescriptions and manufacturing delays are among many factors at the root of the shortage on drugs like Adderall, a common treatment for ADHD. The FDA announced a shortage of the drug last fall, and it was initially expected to last a few months, but persists nearly a year later. In a letter from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the Drug Enforcement Agency on Tuesday, healthcare providers are being asked to monitor their prescribing practices. According to the CDC, the demand for prescription stimulants surged during the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly among adults. The DEA sets limits on the amount of controlled substances that can be produced. However, an internal analysis suggests that manufacturers fell 30% short of the full quota in 2022, and that trend is likely to continue this year. Thoughts of going back to the classroom may be exciting for some, but others may feel a little uneasy. And health experts say it's normal to be nervous, and kids may have more than one feeling at a time. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has ways parents can help with back-to-school anxiety.
Subtract summer, add a new classroom, new teacher, new classmates, and
maybe a little anxiety about it all.
Will I have friends? Will I like my teacher? Will I find my group?
Licensed Strong for Life therapist Jody Baumstein says it's normal to be anxious about starting something new, and those feelings of anxiety may look different in children than in adults.
If you notice that they are really fidgety or tearful, or they can't make eye contact when you are talking about school, that might be a good indicator that they're feeling some uneasiness.
Baumstein says to first figure out what's causing the anxiety by asking open-ended questions and listening to your child. You can then put their mind at ease through problem solving.
If they're really nervous about being able to unlock their locker quickly, get a lock at home and help them practice it.
While you can't remove all stress in a child's life, Baumstein says healthy habits can help. That includes quality sleep, good nutrition, being active, reducing screen time, and teaching coping skills.
Like learning how to take really deep breaths to calm their body so that their brain is able to think clearly. Or teaching them how to use their senses to bring them into the present moment.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Coming up next, a Michigan man is swimming across Lake Michigan, marking the 25th anniversary of his own swim across the lake back in 1998. Find out how his journey is going and where to find him amongst the waves as his swim takes him further from the Milwaukee shoreline. Stay with us.
Come join us at the historic Waswaganing Indian Bowl located in downtown Lac de Flambeau Tuesdays through August 15th. Experience the culture and pageantry of Ojibwe powwow, relax through the soothing sounds of Native American drums, and enjoy the vibrant colors of traditional regalia worn by authentic Ojibwe dancers. Watch and take part in intertribal dances and come tour our Ojibwe Summer Village gates, open at 6 with grand entry at 7. Come and refresh your spirit, paid by the Native American Tourism of Wisconsin.
Get 11% off everything at Menards. Give a beautiful color to your projects with Minwax Wood Finish. Minwax is a penetrating stain that enhances all types of wood and dries fast. A quart of Minwax oil-based wood finish is $10.99 after rebate. Add an extra layer of protection with a coat of ultra-flat clear wood polyurethane. It provides a clear, long-lasting finish to interior projects. A quart of Minwax fast-drying polyurethane is $12.99 after 11% off.
Save big money at Menards.
I was stuck. Unresolved depression symptoms were in my way. I needed more from my antidepressant. Vraylar helped give it a lift.
Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant is clinically proven to help relieve overall depression symptoms better than an antidepressant alone. And in Vraylar clinical studies, most saw no substantial impact on weight. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke, report unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults, report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Movement dysfunction and restlessness are common side effects. Stomach and sleep issues, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are also common. Side effects may not appear for several weeks.
I didn't have to change my treatment. I just gave it a lift.
Ask about Vraylar and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Carpet City. Come to Carpet City Flooring Center and get the toughest waterproof floors in the industry, where they're in stock and on sale. Rigid Maximum XL is 50% thicker and 30% longer, resulting in maximum durability, which is perfect for active families and pets. Not to mention, it's easy to install. Come to Carpet City Flooring Center to get your Rigid Maximum XL waterproof floors today.
Carpet City, our prices will floor you.
Yeah, I feel great. I feel absolutely great. So I'm ready to do this. I've been training hard for a very, very long time. So now it is mostly just a mental preparation, and I'm actually pretty chill about it. But this is, make no mistake, the longest one I've ever done. And so in many ways, this will be my biggest challenge ever. You don't think about all 82.5 miles. I'm very aware that humankind at its best will never beat Mother Nature at her worst. I want to get as many wrinkles out as I can. If the emotional attachment to your goal is larger than you as an individual, that can push you through the biggest obstacles. I think, and when you're reaching for goals too, is set your goals high. Yeah, and that's a relative term. You know, you don't have to swim across the lake. You know, that doesn't have to be your goal. But if you set your goals high and you reach for the stars and you fall short, you might still reach the moon.
Okay, thank you, Wisconsin. Next stop, Michigan. All right. Official time. Get started.
All right, that was pretty cool, right? But meanwhile, though, on the weather deck, one thing that's cool out here this morning, temperatures and a little muggy out here, too. Bug Zero and I also just chilling out here as well. But as we get things rolling out here otherwise this morning, again, we do have some clouds developing this morning, but notice it's not covering the entire sky. We do have some clearer skies as well, so a mixture of clouds and sunshine with a general idea today. But temperatures already mild this morning, middle 60s, though, at least if I'm reading that right over in Rhinelander, upper 50s to lower 60s and some other spots. So otherwise, still be a little bit warmer out there this morning than what we're typically used to. But we do have some storms and parts of the UP that's getting close to the Marquette area. But everyone else looking pretty fine with just a mixture of some clouds and soon to be some sunshine as it starts to rise. We'll be watching for some scattered showers and storms later this afternoon. But otherwise, though, partly cloudy in the western parts of the state with temperatures in the 80s. For us, though, chances for scattered showers and storms, temperatures in the lower 80s, even upper 80s over in Green Bay. While further down to the south, though, some temperatures that'll be in the 80s. A little more coming up after the break.
Paw prints happen. Stains don't have to. iClean, stain-resistant fabric for everyday life. iClean by La-Z-Boy. Learn more at lazyboy.com.
Sullivan's Log Home Restoration and Remodel is your choice for log home maintenance with a guaranteed new and beautiful looking home, whether it's an interior or exterior job. Specializing in log replacements, sandblasting, staining, and chinking. Need that extra square footage? Sullivan's also does remodeling and additions to your existing home. Sullivan's Log Home Restoration and Remodel has been serving the Eagle River and surrounding area for over 30 years.
Our phones keep us constantly connected.
Please switch to airplane mode.
But what if they had a mode to help us actually connect? Introducing Us Mode, a mode that makes our phones less distracting, so we can focus on quality time. So the notifications we get are the ones that matter. So we're never distracted from what's most important. Visit US Cellular in-store or online to set up Us Mode for free, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, built for us.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call Low Cost Airlines. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call now.
Paw prints happen. Stains don't have to. iClean, stain-resistant fabric for everyday life. iClean by La-Z-Boy. Learn more at lazyboy.com.
Live on NBC 12, this is Newswatch 12 Today.
Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodholtz.
And I'm Jackie Smith.
Boating is a type of lifestyle here in the Northwoods.
And while inboard motorboats may be a more popular style of today, it was the boats that came before them that laid the foundation.
Newswatch 12's Austin Kurisu visited the annual Antique and Classic Outboard Motor Show to learn more about what people can expect throughout the week.
It grew to be so big that we started having it here at Sarah Park.
The Antique and Classic Outboard Motor Show and Swap Meet has been taking place since the 80s and is happening again this week in Tomahawk.
I think if people had outboards when they were young, you know, like my age or whatever, that they see an outboard that they had when they grew up, and they're like, oh, I remember having that outboard, or I remember seeing those on the lake.
The event showcases antiques and classic boats with people coming from over 20 states and different countries.
It's the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and a few 60s, 1900s that we get here.
The event will also have many activities for people throughout the week, and the boats will showcase a parade during the Tomahawk Ski Show on Thursday.
It's kind of the history of the lakes of northern Wisconsin, where everybody had outboards and boats, and they ran around, and so it's just nostalgic.
Those are some pretty boats. Jackie, you been out on a boat yet this year?
I haven't, but I really want to. I love boats.
See, it is summertime in the Northwoods, and it wouldn't be the same if you didn't make it out there at least once.
I know. I want to get on like a pontoon boat. I know those are pretty big around here.
A good pontoon party. There you go.
Absolutely. But I don't know if today is necessarily going to be the best getting out on a boat weather, because there are some storms trying to creep its way through.
But thankfully, Devin Biggs is joining us in the Weather Center to give us the heads up. So what are we looking at today, Devin?
Yeah, I say don't cancel those plans, but just keep an eye to the forecast zone. Just act accordingly. If there are storms on the way, we know what to do, right? Just watch things, and if you're out and about and you see something coming your end, then just make sure to park it. But otherwise, as we get things rolling out there this morning, over in Park Falls, so we obviously don't see any smoke out there. Just the clouds moving in. The sun's starting to rise this morning. The only storms nearby is in parts of the UP for the time being. We're seeing clouds also in parts of Rhinelander this morning. No, the camera's still zoomed out. I'll probably zoom it in just a little bit, but for now, a nice way to start things off this morning. You have to look further off towards Green Bay and Shawano and even Marinette this morning to see any kind of fog. But otherwise, though, in our viewing area, mainly this Antigo, that's about it for now for as far as any reported fog. But for now, we are seeing some showers and storms in parts of the UP, and that's that cell right about here tracking to the south. And it's getting closer toward the Marquette area, too. But for us in our backyard, there's some clouds currently tracking through. We'll have our turn for showers and storms coming up soon. Temperatures mid-60s in Rhinelander, upper 50s in Land O'Lakes, also in Antigo, and some upper 50s, even some middle 60s further down to the south. So overall, a pretty mild morning in a few spots. But as you head out hiking today, though, to keep an eye to the sky with the chances for showers and storms. But warming up today, too. Lower 80s on the way with clouds moving in.
Kyiv and Zagreb have agreed on the possibility of using Croatian ports on the Danube River to export Ukrainian grain. This is a major victory for Ukraine as they make up 10% of the world grain supply.
And the announcement follows Russia's withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative, as well as several missile strikes on Ukraine's grain storage and export infrastructure in the Odessa region.
Elsewhere in the world, powerful Typhoon Kanun slammed into Japan's island of Okinawa, bringing high winds and heavy rains on Wednesday. Officials have ordered more than 600,000 residents to evacuate as the storm took out power lines, leaving households without any electricity.
Hundreds of European nationals are being evacuated from Niger in the wake of a military coup that has plunged the West African nation into a political crisis. At least 262 people, including 12 infants, have already left the country on board one of 2 French planes, according to the French foreign minister.
And today is expected to be a special day at the London Zoo on International Golden Lion Tamarin Day. 3-month-old kumquat will hop off mom's back to explore its habitat for the very first time. Kumquat was named for the vibrant colors it shares with the fruit. A second victim was recovered from Lake Winnebago following a plane crash Saturday morning during EAA Air Venture in Oshkosh.
A T-6 Texan plane crashed into the lake on Saturday, killing 2 people on board. 30-year-old Devin Riley was the co-founder of the Texas Warbird Museum and daughter of 2-time Super Bowl champion Bruce Colley. A witness to the crash said he heard the plane hit the water.
We heard a big bang, and the time I got turned around, I did not see anything. So I took off with the rest of the boats. When we got on scene, there was a guy that had sighted image on the boat and stuff. He figured where the plane was. All we really saw was just a lot of debris floating in the water and aviation fuel.
The sheriff's office says the scene is no longer active, but they're working with NTSB investigators to determine if any more dives or searches are going to be required.
Coming up, we have some news you can use, including a major company that is now out in virtual healthcare across the states.
Plus, see how Tesla is expanding their empire and providing innovation to the economy with their next move. Those stories and more consumer news after this.
Menke Automotive, locally owned and employee-focused, so our team creates a great atmosphere. Our showroom is packed with the trusted American brands, GMC, Buick, and more. Menke Automotive, we work hard to exceed your expectations.
Russell, what does this have to do with law?
Absolutely nothing.
Carry the Cross Co. is very pleased to announce the 2023 Inspire Heal Unite concert to be held August 11th at Merrill Normal Park at 6:30 p.m. Our lead-off performer will be King's Conquest, a new and upcoming Christian group from central Wisconsin. Rhett Walker and his band will be the premier performer this year. Rhett is a 3-time GMA Dove Award winner and Artist of the Year, Contemporary Album of the Year, and Contemporary Song of the Year. Concert admission is free. See our website at carrythecrossco.com.
Attention homeowners. Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Is the bank threatening to take your home? Is your home worth less than you owe? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need to call this number right now. It won't cost you anything to find out if we can help you. We are the Mortgage Defense Line, and we can help you save your home. Don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-970-8640. That's 1-800-970-8640.
Menke Automotive, locally owned and employee-focused, so our team creates a great atmosphere. We offer cars of the highest quality and ideal for your needs. Mazda is the brand you can rely on. Menke Automotive, we work hard to exceed your expectations.
Welcome back. Let's get things started after this morning. Overall, not too bad looking toward Park Falls. Just a few clouds currently tracking through. The sun is starting to rise. We're going to be seeing a mixture of clouds and sunshine today, with chances for scattered showers and thunderstorms that will be on the way. We're seeing a flag moving just a bit in downtown Rhinelander, so we do have a little bit of a breeze out there this morning. You see we have a little bit of a haze off of the distance, probably some fog developing in a few spots as well. Not as widespread, though, so we're looking okay for the time being. There is a little bit more moisture in the atmosphere, so we could also be seeing that. But otherwise, so there are some storms developing in parts of the UP this morning, getting pretty close to parts of Marquette for right now, and that's tracking to the south and east at this point. But for us, we're looking okay with a mixture of some clouds and soon to be some sunshine as it starts to rise. But meanwhile, though, we're missing out on some rain. Look toward Missouri and Iowa and even parts of Illinois. We're seeing some showers and storms this morning. Some flash flood alerts also posted in Missouri this morning, too, because of storms that are tracking over the same area. We call that training because that storm's kind of just going over the same area over and over again. So they're dealing with that. We will not see that rainfall today. We do have a system out for the north right about in here that'll be moving in our direction today. That'll give us a few chances for some showers and storms today. A little bit left over tonight and a few more tomorrow before it backs off tomorrow night into Friday. So FutureCast, let's time all this out right now, though. Chances for showers and storms possible during the afternoon period. This new model run really kind of backs it off just a bit, but we're still going to keep an eye on that, though, as it does develop during the afternoon period. Later on tonight, though, again, looking pretty quiet. A lot of the storms will start to taper off as the sun goes down. Then once we head towards your Thursday, a few more showers and storms are possible. Then once we head towards Thursday night, everything starts to taper off. And then by Friday, looking pretty nice as we start to wrap up the work week. But for now, though, here's the chances for storms. A marginal threat for some of the storms to get on the stronger side today. So we're talking some gusty winds and hail with some of those. We'll keep an eye on that today to see how it does develop. But for now, though, temperatures are in the middle 60s in Rhinelander, upper 50s in Land O'Lakes, lower 60s in Manitowish Waters, middle 60s in Wausau, and also in Stevens Point, upper 50s over in Rome this morning over in Adams County. Our average high temperature is 79 degrees. We'll do lower 80s today, middle 80s for your Thursday, back in the lower 80s Friday and a Saturday. Then some 70s as we head towards Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So cooling off by Sunday and heading into next week. All right, that UVNX forecast for today will be at an 8, or at a 4, excuse me, though. I'm so used to saying 8, but it's actually going to be at a 4 today. Moderate, a burn time of 45 minutes. So hats, sunglasses, sunscreen, shade. Despite the lower UV index will still be necessary to avoid a sunburn. You can still get sunburned even despite the clouds. But the allergies will still be an issue as well. Tree pollen's up in the moderate category. Grass and weeds low. Mold is currently in the moderate category. And now we'll look to increase as we head towards later this week. So for today, though, partly cloudy. Scattered thunderstorms on the way with highs in the low 80s and that southeast wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, partly cloudy with a few thunderstorms on the way tonight with lows in the lower 60s. This will mainly be early, though, as the daytime heating goes away, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast. A few more storms on the way for your Thursday with highs in the mid-80s, and Friday and Saturday were dry. More storms on the way for your Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, not too bad either. The nice thing about next week, the temperatures comfortable with 70s on the way.
Tiger Woods was named as the 6th player director on the powerful PGA Tour Policy Board on Tuesday.
It represents a sharp shift to the players in golf's powerful structure. Now players will have a one-seat advantage on the board after the controversial merger between the PGA Tour and the Saudi-backed Live Golf back in June. 5 of the policy board members are independent directors who have professional backgrounds in law and business. The PGA Tour and Live Golf, which was financed by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, merged in secret over negotiations. The merger ended a feud between the two leagues. During that time, many elite PGA golfers accepted highly lucrative offers from Live Golf.
Amazon is expanding its footprint in healthcare. The company announced Tuesday its virtual clinic is now available in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. Amazon Clinic started operating last November. It offers customers 24/7 access to a telehealth treatment on its website and app. Amazon Clinic currently does not accept insurance, so patients can see the cost before they start their visit. Other companies like CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens offer similar services. Analysts say telehealth expanded during the pandemic, but recently the market growth has begun to slow down.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating 2 Tesla models for complaints about steering. 12 drivers have said new Model 3 sedans and Model Y SUVs have suddenly lost power steering assistance. In 7 of the cases, that just meant steering became more difficult, but 5 of the complaints say it resulted in a complete inability to steer. The NHTS says it's aware of one crash connected to the issue, and the agency has been investigating the Model Y since March for separate reports of the steering wheel detaching.
Tesla is going to open a new regional center in Providence, Rhode Island.
State and city leaders say they are thrilled with the agreement.
And they say having Tesla in their backyard will be good for the economy and the environment. Sam Reed has more.
Plug into Providence.
Plugging into Providence, literally.
This is a big deal for Rhode Island, and so we're here to celebrate that.
Palino Properties is bringing something promising to Providence. Tesla will soon benefit all of the area.
This is going to be the largest hub in southern New England. And as I said, over $10 million be invested here.
Palino Properties is overseeing the project's current stage of construction, which has already supported roughly 55 jobs. Once it's done, the location will be over 76,000 square feet. It'll include a Tesla repair facility, retail sales area, and delivery center, bringing with it nearly 30 full-time jobs.
Tesla will be paying property taxes, they'll be paying inventory taxes, they'll be paying all the other taxes that we ask our businesses to pay.
Besides a financial benefit, decreasing Rhode Island's carbon footprint is a big deal.
Let's see how this goes.
Governor Dan McKee says he hopes the state will be operating on 100% renewable electricity by 2030 and says vehicles are no exception.
We'll be trying to create as much encouragement as we can, and we've already started to do the groundwork on that.
Part of that groundwork includes adding additional areas around Providence to charge a car.
With this popping up, are you considering maybe adding more charging stations around the city?
Yes, so there have been more charging stations popping up. And in fact, we just met with an official from the United States Department of Energy who was in town a couple days ago because there's federal grant funds through the Biden administration available to build out a charging network. We're going to receive about $220,000 from the federal government that we will use to increase charging stations in public spaces, and that's going to be something that we continue to invest in.
For now, the city is canvassing areas to see where they would fit best. The goal is to have this hub opened next year, making it a driving force for the future.
Their thirst for learning and knowledge and just life in general and the excitement of it all is contagious.
Coming up at 6, learning how to use community resources is a great way to get involved.
And find out how a picnic in the park might just be the perfect opportunity for Northwoods families.
See the exceptional selection of jewelry at Golden Carat Jewelers. Artistic handmade jewelry by Michu and Belle Latour. Fashion-forward designs by Mira T. and Frederick Sage. The latest trends and the forever classics from Facet Barcelona, Catan, and more. Your full-service jewelry store in downtown Minocqua, Golden Carat Jewelers has a surprise for everyone.
Attention homeowners, we're looking for 50 homeowners who need a new bath or shower. We want to evaluate our custom bathing solutions in real homes for safety and convenience. Call Mad City Baths, Wisconsin's #1 remodeler and trusted local source for American-made baths and showers installed in as little as 1 day. And with our Price Lock Guarantee, we'll guarantee your price for 1 year. Now 50 homeowners will save. Receive free installation of a new bath or shower. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. Senior and military discounts, plus call during this program and receive a free $50 Walmart gift card with your in-home estimate.
Don't forget, Mad City is also Wisconsin's trusted local source for energy-efficient replacement windows and kitchen cabinet refacing. We're proud to be A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
Absolutely a good investment because we're happy.
Mad City has more than 50,000 satisfied customers and an A+ rating with the BBB. We can replace your old outdated bathtub with a beautiful walk-in shower or new walk-in tub, installed in as little as 1 day, infused with Microban antimicrobial protection for easy cleaning. And now 50 homeowners will receive special savings. Free installation of a new bath or shower. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. Senior military discounts. Plus, if you call Mad City Baths now during this program, you'll receive a free $50 Walmart gift card with your in-home estimate. From Wausau in north central Wisconsin, call with zip code and location to qualify. 715-941-4238. That's 715-941-4238.
And welcome back. A California man has completed a surprising journey spanning nearly 200 years.
And involving skull fragments, a mystery box, and Beethoven. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Paul Kaufman has completed a strange, decades-long journey involving the supposed remains of one of the world's most famous composers. It started in 1999 when the California man found a mysterious box among his late mother's belongings in France.
And scratched on the surface was the name Beethoven.
Inside were wrapped fragments of a skull believed to belong to Beethoven. Yes, that Beethoven. For more than 20 years, Kaufman worked with scholars worldwide and tracked the fragments to his great-great-uncle, an Austrian physician involved in researching the composer's body, exhumed in 1863.
Then handed down over all these 170 years to me.
Handed down and now handed over to the Medical University of Vienna, where they're on display for the world to see. Take a look at much older remains of a predator and prey locked in battle and frozen in time. A newly published scientific report says this remarkably well-preserved fossil shows a small mammal preying on a dinosaur roughly 125 million years ago. Researchers believe the pair were buried mid-mortal combat by a volcanic mud flow. Finally, science says Taylor Swift fans are the loudest. In Seattle, at least. A seismologist says Swift's recent shows at Seattle's Lumen Field registered seismic activity equivalent to a 2.3 magnitude earthquake. It's her, she's the problem, it's her. The readings also beat a previous rumbling record set by cheering Seahawks fans in 2011. These concert goers weren't just shaking it off, they were shaking it up. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
All right, it's going to be very fascinating there. As I always say, though, I still think Taylor Swift is the most popular musician ever, though. We'll see if that, in my opinion, holds true on that one. But otherwise, moving forward, all righty, so here's a look at things right now, and the flag moving a bit in downtown Rhinelander this morning as we have a little bit of a breeze out there. And maybe a little bit of fog in the distance as well. That's probably what we're seeing. There's some more moisture in the air. Also, temperatures right now are in the upper 50s in Land O'Lakes, middle 60s in Rhinelander. We have upper 50s over in Medford this morning, and some 50s and 60s also further down toward the south. Otherwise, though, the radar and satellite is showing a few showers and storms developing in parts of the UP this morning. But for us, it's a mixture of some clouds and soon to be some sunshine moving in as the sun rises this morning. Otherwise, though, your travel forecast looks a little bit like this. We have 80s across the western parts of the state, though, as the yellow jackets flying around here as well. And for us, though, part of the cloudy sky in the west. For us, though, a few chances for storms, temperatures in the lower 80s, upper 80s in Green Bay. While further down toward the south, here we go, some temperatures that are in the 80s. A little more coming up after the break.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Wausau Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our unique doctor-supervised program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back safely, naturally, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, no hypnosis or surgery, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Hi, I'm Carrie from Wittenberg. I lost over 100 pounds and 68 inches. I know the secret. Prior to starting this program, I suffered with chronic migraines, lots of joint aches and pains, didn't have the energy to be the mom that I needed to be. My energy level's back, my confidence is back. I would definitely recommend this program to anyone looking for a change.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Get up to 56% off list at our huge 56th anniversary sale at Slumberland Furniture. Incredible deals. Plus, enter to win a free car. It doesn't get any better than this. Amazing deals on living rooms, bedrooms, mattresses, and more. Oh, did we mention totally free shipping with no minimum? Up to 56% off list. 56th anniversary sale. And someone's walking away with a free car at Slumberland Furniture. It's a big deal.
Carpet City. Come to Carpet City Flooring Center and get the toughest waterproof floors in the industry, where they're in stock and on sale. Rigid Maximum XL is 50% thicker and 30% longer, resulting in maximum durability, which is perfect for active families and pets. Not to mention, it's easy to install. Come to Carpet City Flooring Center to get your Rigid Maximum XL waterproof floors today.
Carpet City, our prices will floor you.
Alrighty, welcome back. The big bright lunar displays will bookend this month as the moon nears its closest point to Earth. When orbital position coincides with a full moon, it's called a supermoon, and supermoons generally look brighter and bigger than other full moons. And this month, and there will be 2 of them. The first will peak, peaked yesterday, actually, but if you step outside, you might still be able to see the moon. But in the U.S., your best chance for a glimpse of the supermoon will be after sunset. I believe that's tonight, correct, Jackie? Double checking that script. They're looking toward the southeast, so later on tonight. So then on August 30th, though, a full moon will appear at the closest point to our planet this year, making it a super blue moon. Oh. A blue moon is a second full moon in a single month. So the moon doesn't appear blue, obviously, but it's just something kind of fascinating. So astronomy is going to be pretty cool this month.
It sounds like it. The moon's going to be sad, is what you're saying.
Totally.
You know, I really like the phrase "once in a blue moon." Kind of like how Michael's puns only are funny once in a blue moon.
Hey, that's uncalled for. But blue moon, it's got me thinking of ice cream. So blue moon. Now, I like cotton candy ice cream, but blue moon ice cream, I'm never sure what flavor it actually is. Like, Devin, have you had blue moon ice cream?
I have.
What would you describe that flavor as?
I don't know, because it's been a long time since I've tried it.
Exactly.
Oh,
citrusy.
Apparently it's supposed to be citrusy.
It's supposed to be citrusy. I don't know about that. I just don't trust it. Blue, it doesn't scream citrusy to me.
Yeah, blue, I would think, like, obviously some type of fruity because it's colorful. But I don't know. I guess maybe blue raspberry, but if it's supposed to be citrusy.
Maybe blue raspberry, I guess.
May I have to try it and see how it looks. So just for old time's sake, because Michael and his bad puns, I'm going to throw a flag and a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, because your puns are being horrible. That's a 15-yard penalty.
If you were having a blue day,
run to the moon and back.
If you were having a blue day on a blue moon, you could have some blue moon ice cream underneath the blue moon. Think about all the blue that could be happening on that, and you could dress in blue.
And you can listen to "I'm Blue" Dabba Dee.
Meanwhile,
there you go.
Meanwhile,
since
we're mentioning football, by the way, I think we have a preseason game this Thursday, I recall. So Thursday on NBC, actually, there'll be some preseason football. So if I recall, I think our 6 o'clock newscast this Thursday will be on Cozy TV.
I believe so.
12.2 or channel 190. 92. Double check. I'm sorry, Kate, say it again.
Sounds it will
No,
not
it will not be. There will not be a newscast, and so we'll have to double check that. So, yeah, so Thursday afternoon there is a football game, though, so that will be very fascinating to say the least.
Hopefully they got some good weather, though, for Thursday, Devin.
Yeah, well, hopefully they do. But meanwhile, for us here at home, though, as many of us are thinking about football or preseason football already, I can't believe it already myself either. Let's take a look at the 3-day forecast here. So we're going to have some storm chances today and tomorrow, and then Friday, partly cloudy, temperatures though in the lower to middle 80s. A little more coming up after the break.
Birchfield Nurseries of Rhinelander has been servicing northern Wisconsin since 1950. Birchfield Nurseries grows all of their own plants, and you will always find healthy, hardy, and well-maintained plants. Let their experienced staff answer any of your landscaping questions. They also handle shredded bark mulch, compost, and topsoil. For all your lawn care needs, they carry sod, premium gas seed, and lawn fertilizer. Consider one of the professional landscape crews to do the work for you. If you want experience with quality, call Birchfield Nurseries.
Summertime comes and summertime goes, so let those good times roll. Summertime comes and summertime goes, so let those good times roll.
Sinking driveway? Call SureDry. Settling patio? Call SureDry. Uneven pool deck? Call SureDry. Collapsing stoop? Call SureDry. Cracking sidewalk? That's right, call SureDry. It's a fact. Concrete problems don't get better with time. They get better with SureDry. Schedule your free estimate today.
Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Fire flambe or perfectly sear filet, just like the pros. Plus, it's PFOA-free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone Pan for just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. You get it all. An incredible value.
To order, call 1-800-898-6703. That's 1-800-898-6703 or order online at buygranitestone.com.
Real estate auction, Hazelhurst, Wisconsin. Beautiful home and 13 acres near the Willow Flowage. Contact Brass and St. Louis Auctions for more details.
Live on NBC 12, this is Newswatch 12 Today.
Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholtz.
And I'm Jackie Smith.
Kids may be out for summer, but for parents, the learning doesn't stop.
Oh, never. A picnic in the park Tuesday morning offered parents a chance to learn more about community resources.
Our own Isabella Lisco dropped by that very park.
Preschoolers came to the park for a morning of playmates and popsicles.
I've been having fun and I've been playing with my brother.
I'm here at Hodag Park, where the Rhinelander District Library and Children's Wisconsin, which is a healthcare organization for families and children, are hosting a joint picnic in the park event.
They reach the same people that we are trying to reach, and so we figure that if we can work together, the scope is so much broader.
That was picnic planner Denise Shinaki. She says she loves working with kids because
their thirst for learning and knowledge and just life in general and the excitement of it all is contagious.
And preschool is a good time to learn good habits.
This is the prime age to really start getting them into the routine and habit of reading and the love of reading.
While fun for the kids, parents could also learn something new. Children's Wisconsin parent educator Nicole Lilick says her organization provides Northwoods families with information on resources like the library, the police and fire departments, domestic abuse shelters, and hospitals.
You're not trying to struggle and find those things later when you're already in a situation. You know about those things before the situation arises.
Lilick says knowing these resources builds a better society.
Strengthening families strengthens communities.
Stronger communities, one child at a time.
I can just get a book and then I can just read it to myself.
It looked like a fun time to just learn about everything that your community has to offer. Because, I mean, fun, resources, it's a perfect match.
I mean, Hodag Park, what better place? Right on Boom Lake and at the amphitheater there if the kids want to get up and, like, jump around. I mean, you know, it's got some good echoes in there.
But if you want to get out today, definitely keep an eye to the sky because depending on the weather, you might want to, you know, take a little cover.
Absolutely. And Devin Biggs is joining us now with a look at your weather. And Devin, how are we shaping up this morning?
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. Look at Park Falls this morning. Looking pretty nice as we start things off this morning. The sun's starting to rise there, kind of reflecting off of the clouds. So it's definitely looking pretty nice there. At least this morning, the smoke is finally gone from the atmosphere. So all we're seeing is the clouds and some sunshine mixed in. So that'll be nice, right? The flag is waving proudly over in downtown Rhinelander this morning. So you do have a little bit of a breeze out there, too. A little bit more moisture in the air. So that's why it looks a little bit more on the foggy side further off in the distance there. But for now, though, any fog that's being reported looks like Land O'Lakes seeing a little bit of that this morning, but Antigo and areas off to the east are seeing some areas of dense fog developing this morning. A lot of that will start to taper off as, of course, the sun comes up and it'll mix out. But otherwise, though, we had some showers and storms developing in parts of the UP this morning, getting close to Marquette now. But for us, though, we're looking fine for the time being, no, with some clouds mixing in and, of course, some sunshine once the sun rises. Overall, not too bad moving forward. Temperatures a little mild this morning in the upper 50s, even some lower 60s out there. So overall, not too bad as we do start things off. But I think you may like the temperatures for today, too. We'll have 80s on the way for us today. Maybe slightly muggy out there with dew points in the 60s, but otherwise lower 80s today with a chance for showers and storms.
Kiev and Zagreb have agreed on the possibility of using Croatian ports on the Danube River to export their Ukrainian grain. This is a major victory for Ukraine as they make up 10% of the world grain supply.
And the announcement follows Russia's withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative, as well as several missile strikes on Ukraine's grain storage and export infrastructure in the Odessa region.
Elsewhere in the world, powerful typhoon Kanuns slammed into Japan's island of Okinawa, bringing high winds and heavy rain on Wednesday. Officials have ordered more than 600,000 residents to evacuate as the storm took out power lines, leaving households without any electricity.
Hundreds of European nationals are being evacuated from Niger in the wake of a military coup that has plunged the West African nation into a political crisis. At least 262 people, including 12 infants, have already left the country on board one of 2 French planes, according to the French foreign minister.
And today is expected to be a special day at the London Zoo on International Golden Lion Tamarin Day. 3-month-old Kumquat will hop off mom's back to explore its exhibit for the very first time. Kumquat was named for the vibrant colors it shares with the fruit. The vice president is set to make her way to Wisconsin tomorrow.
Kamala Harris is scheduled to visit Milwaukee and Pleasant Prairie to highlight investments by the Biden-Harris administration in broadband. This visit comes after it was announced last month that Wisconsin will receive more than $1 billion to expand high-speed internet access throughout the state. Money for the projects comes from funds approved in the 2021 bipartisan infrastructure law.
And up next on Newswatch 12 today, we'll be joined by Jessica Drallmeyer from the Sainer Star Lake Chamber of Commerce.
Learn all you need to know about their upcoming street fair. Stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes.
Who doesn't love ice cream? Enter the Birthday Club contest at WJFW.com for your chance to win a free single scoop of ice cream from the country store of Eagle River. Watch Newswatch 12 today, Monday through Friday, to see the lucky winner of the day.
At Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, we're celebrating 16 years of helping you make your home your own with furniture and mattresses you love. We carry top brands, Lazy Boy, Flex Steel, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, and more. We also offer the area's largest selection of Amish-built furniture. Most items are in stock and available for express delivery. Personalize your home with a variety of unique lamps, wall art, accents, and area rugs. Visit our 2 family-owned furniture stores in Eagle River for exceptional selections, service, and savings.
Bam! My accident? My accident happened in a second.
My settlement? That's taking a really long time.
If you've been injured in an accident and need money now while your case settles, call Oasis today.
Better days start today. Get the cash you need with Oasis.
There's no risk. If you lose your case, you don't have to pay Oasis back, ever. Applying for Oasis Express Cash is easy and takes 3 minutes. We'll work with your attorney, and if you're approved, get you $500 to $100,000 in as little as 24 hours. Use it for bills, rent, whatever you need help with. So call now or go online to apply. Remember, there's no risk to you.
Better days.
Better days.
Better days start today.
Oasis Financial, because life moves faster than your case.
Call now. Once approved, get your money in as little as 24 hours. 1-800-745-9991.
All your local news is just a swipe away with the new and improved Newswatch 12 mobile app. Download the app on all your devices for local news, school closings, full video newscasts, and more. Newswatch 12. News from where you live.
Welcome back. Let's get things started after this morning. Not too bad looking toward Minocqua to some clouds developing this morning and maybe some sunshine starting to mix in as it starts to rise. But for now, not too bad. Looking toward Rhinelander, though, the flag waving proudly there this morning as we do have a little bit of a breeze out there, a little bit more moisture in the air as well. That's why it looks a little bit more on the foggy side further off in the distance. But for now, not too bad to start things off. We do have a few showers and storms that are developing across parts of the UP and tracking to the south and east, getting close to the Marquette area this morning. But that's the only cell that's nearby. As for the rest of the state, some clouds and some sunshine developing. So overall, not too bad as we start things off here on a Wednesday. It's not fun further down toward Missouri and Iowa. Check this out this morning. Even in the parts of Illinois, some showers and thunderstorms developing there. These storms are doing something that we call training. They're moving over the same area over and over again. And when storms train, flash flooding tends to be an issue. You can see those green boxes there. There are some flash flood warnings in effect there. We will not have to worry about that, I will stress. We have this system that we're going to be watching for. That'll move in, giving us a few chances for some showers and storms today. And maybe a little bit left over early tonight, though. And then tomorrow, a little bit more looks to move in. So let's break this down with Futurecast right here. A mixture of clouds and sun today with a few showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon period. Anything that develops will start to back off later on tonight. But then once we head towards your Thursday, some more showers and thunderstorms are possible. Those will taper off as the sun goes down as well. Then once we head towards your Friday, not too bad. Looking pretty nice to start things off as we wrap up the week. But for now, though, a marginal threat for some of the storms to get strong to possibly severe, so some gusty winds and hail in a few spots before we're all finished up there. Current temperatures right now are in the upper 50s in Land O'Lakes, lower 60s in Rhinelander, upper 50s in Antigo and also Merrill, and some lower 60s further down toward the south. Average high temperature is 79 degrees, lower 80s today, middle 80s for your Thursday, back in the low 80s Friday and Saturday, and the 70s return Sunday, Monday, and also into your Tuesday, so a cool down on the way after some days in the 80s, so next week will start to feel rather nice. The UVNX forecast for today will be down a bit because of the clouds at a 4, moderate burn time of 45 minutes. Had sunglasses, sunscreen, shade. Maybe still keep that handy, though, because the sun will be out from time to time, too. You still want to make sure to avoid that sunburn. Allergies, you'll still feel that as well. Maybe some moderate tree pollen out there as well. Grass and weeds still currently in the low category, but mold is increasing in the moderate category for now. It will start to increase to the high category as we do move forward. So for today, though, partly cloudy, some scattered thunderstorms on the way with highs in the lower 80s and a southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Later on tonight, partly cloudy, maybe a few thunderstorms early with lows in the lower 60s and the wind overall looking nice and calm. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast with a few more storms on the way for you Thursday with highs in the mid 80s. Then Friday and Saturday looking pretty nice and dry with a mixture of clouds and sun and temperatures in the 80s. We cool off a bit Sunday with a chance for storms, temperatures in the 70s, and then more 70s Monday to Tuesday as we look dry.
Thank you, Devin. Your summer calendars may be jam-packed with tons of exciting events, but may we recommend making room for a street fair?
Yes, and we're joined now by Jessica Drallmeyer from the St. Star Lake Chamber of Commerce president to tell us a little bit about what's going on over there. So Jessica, thanks for joining us this morning.
Oh, well, thank you both for having me on. We have our street fair coming up this Sunday, August 6th, and it is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is a blast for everybody, families, adults, kids. So we have almost 40 vendors showing up, and they make beautiful, beautiful items. Can't speak enough about how gorgeous they are. We have a couple of food trucks coming. We have...
Nothing wrong with some food.
There is never anything wrong. We have the RBA food truck showing up and S&B concessions. And then we have an amazing quilt show going down at a local shop, Plum Lake Quilts. It's beautiful to see all these people create. We have a Touch a Truck event going on for kids, some children's activities, and then we have 2 amazing bands showing up for the day as well.
What is Touch a Truck?
So the Touch a Truck event is put on by the Plum Lake Ambulance Department, and we source out local construction equipment and things, so the kids get to climb all over them, push the buttons, make loud noises, learn about all those things, so it's a lot of fun for them.
Well, it sounds fantastic. And over in Sainer, this is going to be happening right downtown?
Right downtown. So what we do, Michael, is our town is located on a state highway, 155.
Okay.
And so we get permission from the state to close down the highway for the day.
Oh.
Which is a blast. So we're going to have on the stage performing from 10 to noon in Decline, and they play music from the 60s all the way up to the 2000s. I could not think of a better way to get the party started and people dancing. And then from 1 to 4, we have the Jimmies coming, and we're really excited to see them both. And the Jimmies do kind of a funky blues mix. So again, guaranteed to get people up and moving.
Exactly. They'll get really rustled, rustling their Jimmies.
Sure, Michael. Yeah. So how long, this seems like a pretty big thing. You said this is your 8th year, correct?
It is, Jackie, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long does it take to plan this and get it all together?
So you know what, Jackie, I have an amazing group of women that help me plan this, but I usually start planning every year in January.
Ooh.
Oh, so
yeah.
It's a long time to plan. But I mean, people got busy schedules, so it may make sense. You got to all coordinate it for one day. And I was just telling you earlier that I appreciate that's on Sunday, because a lot of people have like family engagements or things they got to do Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday, they just want to do something, relax, wander around, go to a street fair. It's perfect. I can just mosey about, see the vendors, listen to some music.
Yes, yes. It's just a fun day. And I have so many amazing volunteers that help out, and it turns out, Michael, that Sunday is when the majority could show up. So Sunday it was, right?
If people want to volunteer, is it too late to sign up to volunteer?
It's never too late to volunteer. No, we'll always take more. It's never ever too late. It is always amazes me, and I'm always in awe by people in such a small community that come out all the time and volunteer and give of themselves to make something happen and go well.
True. I mean, Sainer is right in the heart of the Northwoods, pretty much. I mean, just north of St. Germain, for those who don't know. It's convenient to get to. It's a beautiful drive to get up there as well. It is fantastic.
Sure is. Yes.
And, so if you're not doing anything Sunday, come on out. And if you want to learn any more information, perhaps about this, how could they learn that?
So you can either email us at learnmore@sainer-starlake.com, or you can go on our website, www.sainer-starlake.org.
And let's reiterate one more time. It's happening this Sunday. What time?
This Sunday, August 6th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Well, fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Jessica.
Thank you for having me.
Sounds like a great time. Thank you.
Thank you.
And coming up, we have What's Trending, including a consolation prize for folks who didn't win their Mega Millions.
Plus, when it's time to hang up the hat and call it a career, see where most people are flocking towards and also shying away from. Those stories up next in What's Trending.
Are your floors looking worn and outdated? Stop by Eagle Floor Covering in Eagle River for all your flooring needs.
View our large selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and area rugs.
We have a knowledgeable staff, competitive pricing, and free estimates. Locally owned and operated for over 2 decades.
Come in and let over 40 years of combined sales and service experience help you select the right floor for your lifestyle and budget.
Eagle Floor Covering on Twilight Lane off Highway 70 West, across from Eagle River Cabinets.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
Eagle River Roasters, your Northwoods coffee roaster and community coffee house, has the freshest specialty coffee and tea in the Northwoods. Our coffee comes from choice Arabica beans, hand-blended and roasted on-premise for the finest specialty drinks. Fresh bakery, breakfast, and lunch served daily, our comfortable coffee house is the perfect place for meeting friends or groups. The drive-thru is also open daily. Treat yourself with a great cup of coffee or take some beans to brew at home, fresh from Eagle River Roasters, your Northwoods coffee roaster and community coffee house.
Get up to 56% off list at our huge 56th anniversary sale at Slumberland Furniture. Incredible deals. Plus, enter to win a free car. It doesn't get any better than this. Amazing deals on living rooms, bedrooms, mattresses, and more. Oh, did we mention totally free shipping with no minimum? Up to 56% off list. 56th anniversary sale. And someone's walking away with a free car at Slumberland Furniture. It's a big deal.
Here at American Marine, we got more boats in stock than anyone, anywhere.
You looking for a new fishing boat? We've got a whole showroom full.
Our pontoons more your style? We have a bigger selection than anyone.
We will beat any competing price by $500, and we'll match deposits up to $1,000. There is so much summer fun left. Make it even better by picking out your new boat from the biggest selection and biggest showroom in the USA, only at American Marine Shawano.
Welcome back. It is 6:15 and it's time for What's Trending. So Krispy Kreme says every lottery player can win some dough through Wednesday today. It comes as the Mega Millions jackpot reached $1.1 billion Tuesday night. And in case you weren't aware, you're unlikely to win.
Really?
So, but you're guaranteed to win a donut. All you have to do is bring a Mega Millions ticket for Tuesday night's big drawing or a losing ticket from any lottery to a Krispy Kreme location through Wednesday. In return, you get a free original glazed donut while supplies last.
We already got some losing tickets at home, so maybe I could easily do that, but I don't know if I want to go all the way down to Milwaukee or for, I think that's what that one location is.
Yeah, the Krispy Kreme down there.
For that.
Yeah, I love Krispy Kreme. I'd make the drive, but I wish that when they did these, they would do more than just the glazed donuts. Like, I like their cream-filled or sprinkled donuts.
I'm totally fine with the glazed.
Again, you didn't even know that they had other donuts until I told you a few months ago.
Why ruin something that's so good?
Because they're amazing.
Exactly.
You have to have, no, you have to have their other donuts or other donuts.
They're not ruining it. They're just expanding their options. So you Michael Lordholz, can still get your traditional glazed donut.
They have their cream-filled is the glazed donut, but with cream in the middle. It's like the ring that's got cream in the middle.
That's just so sweet. It's so much extra.
It just depends on what's in it for me. Like if it's fruity, I know a lot of people like their jelly-filled donuts. I don't care for those usually, but usually if you put like, I don't know, pudding for example in it, then that's pretty good to me.
You know, I'd be kind of bummed if I won the $1.1 billion and I didn't get a free donut.
I mean, I think you might be able to afford that, given it's $1.1 billion.
But I want it for free.
I mean, free
Plot
does
twist,
taste better.
Concept, loophole. You buy 2 tickets, you win on one. You have your loser ticket still.
I think this is
for your free donut.
That's probably the lesson we've learned here today, is to buy 2 tickets. That way you get a winning one and a losing one.
Buy 2 tickets for the price of one losing.
Absolutely. We're going to move right along because a new study ranked the best and the worst states to retire. This is good planning right here, and some of the results may surprise you. Bankrate looked at 5 categories across all 50 states.
I have a prediction here. I think Illinois is one of the worst to retire in.
I would be behind that. Affordability, overall well-being, the cost and quality of health care, weather, and crime. Last year, Florida ranked #1 for best place to retire to, not totally surprising, but the state that came out on top this year for 2023 was Iowa.
Wow,
the Hawkeye state. That was named the best place to retire due to its lower cost of living, affordable but high-quality health care, and low crime rates. And the other states that round out the top 5 places to retire are all in the Midwest and the South. Delaware, West Virginia, Missouri, and Mississippi. Florida dropped to 8th. Experts say older Americans shouldn't rule out places that aren't traditionally top of mind for retirement. As for the worst states for retiring, the bottom 5 are all in the Northeast and West, primarily because of the cost of living. Massachusetts, Washington State, California, New York, and Alaska.
Well, Jackie, let's chime in since your state's on there.
Listen, I think Washington is a great place, except, yes, the affordability is insane. I came back here and I was like, I'm never complaining about the cost of gas right now. I think it's about $3.79 here in Rhinelander. When I was in Seattle, it was $5.50.
So it's a bit more, as you're saying.
And there was extra taxes on everything. I mean, in Washington, this isn't a huge deal to me, but you pay for bags now at grocery stores. It's 8 cents a bag. So I can see the cost of living is not great. But Washington overall, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of nature. There's a lot of city. I was driving through Seattle on a highway, and literally one side was just all the city line. Another side, just trees. Complete opposite.
That's pretty fascinating. But to talk about Iowa also, though, I mean, I've been to Iowa. It's a beautiful state as well. One part that surprises me about it, though, is because they get some rough weather sometimes, too. Some storms. They got storms this morning, actually. They had that big derecho a couple years ago as well. And, yeah, so, I mean, it kind of surprised me that it's #1. But I definitely think it's up there for one of the more reasonable states. I think Wisconsin's probably a good state to come in as well if you can find a place to live right now.
Yes, that is true.
But, yeah, that's the other thing, too. Wisconsin's just a popular state. And the reason why I think Illinois is one of the worst is, well, it's expensive to live there. So that's my thinking there.
I'm surprised that the states were the top 5, or some of the states with some of the most interesting weather. Like, there's some things that happen in the Midwest.
Places for Devin to retire to.
Yes.
Yeah, if retirement's a thing when we're older, we'll probably all keep working until we're dead, probably.
Yeah. But I wouldn't mind going to Nashville, maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, our next story is, Nashville related. So Lucky Cat in suburban Nashville only has 8 lives left. The kitten became trapped 6 feet under Sunday after falling down a drain pipe, and firefighters responded to the scene and were able to rescue the scaredy cat. They say this is a good reminder to make sure any sewer drain washout pipes on your property have caps on them. So that poor kitty right there, but glad that cat was rescued and getting the care it needs, so, because I'm sure that poor cat was probably be yelling for help.
Cats just get themselves into the weirdest places.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like
can
you
imagine.
have 2 of them.
Yeah, well, see, Flora is a little too chunky to get into weird places, but Olivia, I think I've told the story before. So she came from a cat cafe. She broke through the roof of the cat cafe.
That checks out. And that was the cat that you wanted to adopt.
That my mom wanted to adopt. I would like to clarify, I wanted an orange cat, but it had to go back to, or it was from Texas, but it had to go to the vet because it was sick. So yes, my mom got the cat who breaks through ceilings and windows and climbs on things and does spider crawls.
Oh, that's funny. We have an orange cat at home, actually, back at my parents' house, and he's about 10 years old now, and we actually found him before we went to college. He actually found us, actually. That poor thing was not in good shape when we found him, but we caught him and got him some care, and now he's just a lovable goofball now.
Yeah, well, hopefully for any cats that want to do some crazy antics, whether they're outside or sitting in a window looking outside, the weather will be decent to them, because cats don't like rain, or cats don't like water, Devin.
Yeah, most cats don't like water.
Most cats.
Yeah, because you never know, you see an odd one on Facebook every now and again. But anyway, 3-day forecast right now, though. Chances for storms do exist today and tomorrow, but then Friday, we're drying out. A little more coming up after the break.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Wausau Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our unique doctor-supervised program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back safely, naturally, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, no hypnosis or surgery, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Hi. I'm Carrie from Wittenberg. I lost over 100 pounds and 68 inches. I know the secret. Prior to starting this program, I suffered with chronic migraines, lots of joint aches and pains, didn't have the energy to be the mom that I needed to be. My energy level's back, my confidence is back. I would definitely recommend this program to anyone looking for a change.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Jump back into school with Macy's specials, like 40% off kids' jeans. Plus juniors tees $12.99 and up. And up to 50% off kids' looks, too. Own your style at Macy's.
A single strand of mRNA could change the way we fight respiratory diseases. And the company that's getting us there, Moderna. This changes everything.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Why Watch. Today we're here with Tammy, and we're talking about some free youth outdoor education programs that are coming up. So can you tell us a bit about those?
Yeah, I'd love to. So at the end of August, UW Extension is working with us to provide 2 different outdoor enrichment programs for community youth. So one of them is going to be geared towards 6 to 8-year-olds, and it's going to be all about bugs and critters and things that live outside in their habitats. And the other one is going to be geared towards 9 to 12-year-olds and all about outdoor survival skills. So shelter building, reading a compass, search and rescue, how to signal for help if you're in the woods, all that fun stuff.
It's really going to prepare kids for camping.
Yeah,
Get them all ready.
Yep.
Does it cost anything to sign up for this?
No, these programs are absolutely free for youth 6 to 12 years old, but space is limited. So we do ask that families register their youth if they want to participate.
Awesome. And when is this happening again, just to reiterate for people?
Oh, sure. So it's the last week of August, the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th.
And then if people wanted to register or learn more, what is the best way to do that, or who can they contact?
So they can either go on our website, ymcathenorthwoods.org. There should be more information and registration information there, or they can contact our Welcome Center.
All right, let's get things rolling out here this morning. Overall, not too bad here on the weather deck. The sun is up this morning. Bug Zero and I are just chilling out here as well. But as we do move forward, though, as the sun rises, the flag waving proudly in downtown Rhinelander this morning. We have a little bit of a breeze outside. So overall, not too bad, though. Temperatures right now are in the upper 50s in Land O'Lakes, some lower 60s in Rhinelander, and upper 50s to lower 60s in Lincoln County, and some more 60s and some 50s further down toward the south. But otherwise, though, moving forward, though, the radar and satellite is not too bad for the time being. We have one storm that is currently developing out there across parts of the UP. It's tracking from the northwest and going toward the south and east, just near parts of the Marquette area, though, and that's tracking off towards the south and east. But for us, though, we're looking okay with just some clouds and a lot of sunshine as well. But temperatures right now, we have 80s across the western parts of the state with a partly cloudy sky. We have a chance for a few storms in our backyard today. Temperatures in the 80s, even upper 80s over in Green Bay, while further down to the south, not too bad, some more 80s further down to the south. Let's check out today's birthday club.
In the world tonight, I hope it's safe and sound.
If you're a contractor or do-it-yourselfer, make Argonne Lumber your first stop. High-quality materials, personalized service, expert staff, and delivery are just some of the things Argonne Lumber is known for. Stop in and smell the lumber at Argonne Lumber, 2 locations in Argonne and Rhinelander.
Come see the fresh changes Woodland Creek Furniture has made to its showrooms. There's an ever-changing selection of unique furniture, much of which is made at Woodland Creek's own facility right here in northern Michigan. Did you know we build custom dining tables, vanities, beds, consoles, and more? New nature-inspired accessories are arriving daily, from lighting and lamps to wall art and rugs. You are bound to find that special accent for your home or office. See hundreds of exclusive designs available only at Woodland Creek in Minocqua.
Carry the Cross Co. is very pleased to announce the 2023 Inspire Heal Unite concert to be held August 11th at Merrill Normal Park at 6:30 p.m. Our leadoff performer will be King's Conquest, a new and upcoming Christian group from central Wisconsin. Rhett Walker and his band will be the premier performer this year. Rhett is a 3-time GMA Dove Award winner and Artist of the Year, Contemporary Album of the Year, and Contemporary Song of the Year. Concert admission is free. See our website at carrythecrossco.com.
At Big Valley Ford, we know that car buying is more than just a transaction. It's an experience, and we're here to make it a great one. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you through finding the right vehicle to fit your needs and budget. Big Valley Ford is passionate about every vehicle that enters our service center, and our team of technicians are here to help you with all of your service needs. Stop into Big Valley in Ewan, Michigan, and experience a Big Valley difference.
In 1930, we began helping people in Milwaukee who were hurt and killed by the carelessness of others. For more than 90 years, the awards for our clients totals well into the billions of dollars, probably more than all the other personal injury firms in the state combined. When entering a negotiation, it helps to have that reputation on your side. We have the talent and resources to take on the big corporations for regular people all over Wisconsin. Habish, Habish & Rotier, national reputation, hometown service.
80% of Americans aren't getting their recommended daily physical activity. It's time to get moving, America. Physical therapists and physical therapist assistants are by your side, helping you move through life. Choose physical therapy, and let's keep moving.
Live on NBC 12, this is Newswatch 12 Today.
Good morning and welcome to Newswatch 12 Today. I'm Jackie Smith.
And I'm Michael Lodholtz.
Governor Evers announced $20 million worth of grants towards funding public improvement projects across Wisconsin.
The city of Antigo received some grant money for a major repaving project.
Our own Jake Forrest stopped by Antigo and has more.
Realistically, we're covering the middle school and on its north, west, and east sides, as well as everything south of the middle school.
Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers this week announced more than $20 million in grants to 21 municipalities for public improvement projects. In Antigo, City Administrator Mark Desatel said the $1 million the city received from those grants will help revitalize a critical traffic artery.
That pays 80% of 7th Avenue from Door to Claremont, and for Claremont Street from 7th Avenue down to 10th Avenue. That's probably about a $1.4 million project with 80% of the funding coming through the federal government in the state of Wisconsin.
But Desatel said that how to use those funds can be a difficult decision. And although there is pressure on the city to fix other roads, that the Edison Street job makes the most sense for right now.
Quite honestly, sometimes you have to match the roadway to the grant funds that are available. These projects were available under specialized programs, and so we took advantage of that.
Desatel also detailed the tight window the city has to get projects like these completed, adding that harsh winters followed by the summer heat can cause utility issues as far as 6 feet below the surface of the road.
It starts impacting utilities and that's like a giant block of ice. And in the spring, that block of ice starts melting from the top first, and that's where your pavement and your gravel bases are. And then you put heavy traffic on it. I always tell people it's like taking Cool Whip, holding it between your hands and slapping it together, and watch where the Cool Whip goes.
Goodness, all that Cool Whip, you know, it's just like the road concern. I like all the analogies he had there.
Absolutely, and it's very exciting to kind of see what they're going to be able to do going forward with all this money, and just see the improvements, because they also have their water tower.
Absolutely. They got the water tower that they're going to be improving and rebuilding what is it, over the next 2 years, something like that?
I think so, yeah. So a lot of exciting things are going down in Antigo. And there's some exciting things going down in Rhinelander today. We have Devin, Ridiculous Days. They're setting up behind you. Is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing. Our downtown Rhinelander camera on the roof of Mel's trading post this morning, showing some setup taking place for Ridiculous Days. I honestly didn't hear much about it until recently, though, courtesy of some friends of one of the businesses I'm friends with in downtown Rhinelander. And yeah, I mean, we're starting to see people setting up, though. So I believe it's from 8 to 4 p.m. today. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. today is Ridiculous Days. So head out and check that out today and support all the local businesses here in our community. But meanwhile, though, Old Glory continuing to wade this morning. We have a little bit of a breeze out there, too. Kind of shaking our camera just a tad bit, though. But overall, not too bad as we start things off this morning as the sun rises. A little bit of fog in Lando. Lake Shawano seeing a little bit of fog as well. So while we're seeing some fog at some spots, other spots not so much, the sun will mix out any fog that has developed this morning. Some rain starting to fall near the Marquette area now as it tracks to the northwest, the south, and east. But for us, though, not too bad. Just some clouds earlier this morning. We're seeing a break in some of those clouds now, but a few showers and storms are possible later on. Upper 50s right now for temperatures on both Manitowish Waters and Land O'Lakes. Lower 60s in Rhinelander. Upper 50s to lower 60s in Lincoln County, and some more lower to middle 60s and even some upper 50s further down to the south. So your forecast for today, not too bad. The lower 80s on the way. Chances for scattered showers and storms on the way. So just keep an eye on that today as we do move forward.
Kyiv and Zagreb have agreed on the possibility of using Croatian ports on the Danube River to export Ukrainian grain. This is a major victory for Ukraine as they make up 10% of the world grain supply.
The announcement follows Russia's withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative, as well as several missile strikes on Ukraine's grain storage and export infrastructure in the Odessa region.
Elsewhere in the world, powerful Typhoon Kanun slammed into Japan's island of Okinawa, bringing high winds and heavy rain on Wednesday. Officials have ordered more than 600,000 residents to evacuate as the storm took out power lines, leaving households without any electricity.
Hundreds of European nationals are being evacuated from Niger in the wake of a military coup that has plunged the West African nation into a political crisis. At least 262 people, including 12 infants, have already left the country on board one of 2 French planes, according to the French foreign minister.
Today is expected to be a special day at the London Zoo on International Golden Lion Tamarin Day. 3-month-old kumquat will hop off mom's back to explore its habitat for the very first time. Kumquat was named for the vibrant colors it shares with the fruit. Authorities are investigating a deadly boating accident that took place this weekend on Pine Lake in the township of Hiles. The Forest County Sheriff's Office says that the crash happened just after 4 p.m. on Saturday between a boat and a jet ski. The 2 vessels collided while operating out in the lake, where the man operating the jet ski was knocked into the water unconscious. The man was then brought to shore where life-saving measures were performed, but he died at the scene from his injuries. The jet ski operator was identified as a 30-year-old man from Milwaukee, and the operator of the boat was his 27-year-old brother from Stevens Point. The accident is under investigation by the Wisconsin DNR and the Sheriff's Office.
The shortage of available housing can hold a community back, and it's hard for the economy to grow when potential workers can't find a place to live. To help add housing capacity, one local community is breaking ground on a new development. Merrill City officials and representatives from SC Swiderski broke ground on the new Alexander Estates development on the city's west side. The new complex will have 4 buildings with 68 units.
Because we have other sites in Merrill, we know what is still needed, and so there's been a lot of demand for one-level living. We have several units that are one-level living that'll be offered here.
There are 4 separate styles of buildings, including townhomes and duplexes with a variety of space ranges. Mayor Steve Haas says the new units will hopefully attract people to Merrill.
We just need more and more because there's a lot of people moving here. There's a lot of people selling their houses and want to downsize and just get into a rental where they don't have to take care of their yard or things like that.
Rent for each unit will include trash removal, lawn care, heating, water, cable, and Wi-Fi. Construction is set to begin soon, with smaller units opening as they're completed. At least 4 people, including 2 young children, were struck by a driver next to a Manhattan hotel during the Tuesday evening rush hour, police sources have said.
None of the victims involved in the car strike suffered any life-threatening injuries, according to sources, and the 2 children, reportedly 5 and 7 years old. The incident appeared to start as a traffic stop of a possibly stolen vehicle. The driver of that car reportedly sped off, fleeing the stop and slamming into a people at Lexington Avenue and East 42nd Street near the Hyatt Hotel. The suspected driver took off on foot, leaving the car and passengers at the intersection.
An Antares rocket launched to the International Space Station Tuesday night, marking the final flight for the vehicle. The spacecraft launched at 8:31 p.m. from Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. The Northrop Grumman Cygnus resupply spacecraft is on its way to the International Space Station with more than 8,200 pounds of NASA science investigation cargo. The manifest includes hardware to support about 40 different space experiments that will be conducted both by the crew members on board the space station as well as Cygnus itself. The spacecraft is set to arrive at the ISS on Friday at 5:54 a.m.
Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland, White House Counsel on the Environment Quality Chair Brenda Mallory, and local, state, and federal leaders unveiled their new temporary signage for the Emmett Till and Mammy Till Mobley National Monument site at Roberts Temple Church of God in Christ in Chicago on Tuesday. President Biden declared the church a national monument on what would have been Emmett Till's 82nd birthday. Roberts Temple Church of God in Christ is where Emmett Till's open casket funeral was held nearly 70 years ago. Emmett Till was 14 years old when he was abducted and lynched after being accused of whistling at a white woman in Mississippi. The new monument, Biden's fourth since taking office, reflects the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to advancing civil rights and racial justice.
For the first time in U.S. history, a former president is charged with trying to overturn an election.
Former President Trump is facing a new indictment for allegedly trying to defraud the United States.
He is specifically alleged to have taken part in 3 criminal conspiracies. Mr. Trump calls the latest indictment his third, quote, fake.
Former President Trump indicted on 4 new charges for what prosecutors say were Trump's multi-pronged efforts to remain in the White House after losing the 2020 election. The federal indictment accuses the former president of taking part in 3 conspiracies: to obstruct official proceedings by stopping the certification of votes on January 6, 2021, and a third broad conspiracy to disenfranchise voters.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy.
This is Special Counsel Jack Smith's second indictment of Trump. He's the same prosecutor who charged Trump with federal crimes over his handling of classified documents. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Smith and says Smith is acting independently.
Mr. Smith and his team of experienced, principled career agents and prosecutors have followed the facts and the law wherever they lead.
But Trump and his defenders say the prosecution is politically motivated.
Joe Biden's running against Donald Trump and losing currently, and now we have that Justice Department indicting President Trump.
Trump taking to social media, writing, "Why didn't they bring this ridiculous case 2.5 years ago? They wanted it right in the middle of my campaign. That's why." But former Vice President Mike Pence had a different take. In a statement responding to the indictment, he says, anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. A sharp rebuke from the man who was once Trump's running mate. In Washington, Drew Petrimo, NBC News.
Coming up next, the Northwoods in summertime is known for having fun, but sometimes accidents happen.
Join Jessica Jugic in the latest edition of Feel Great Today as she tells you where you should go if you need medical attention this summer.
People are setting up for ridiculous days over in downtown Rylander. Will the weather cooperate for that today? Your full forecast is coming up next.
A restaurant favorite that you can make at home. Join us, and I'll show you the step-by-step way to making it. And there is no tipping required.
The Minocqua Dragon Boat Festival is roaring back on August 19th. Register now for a day of fun at Torpy Park on Lake Minocqua. No experience needed, all equipment provided. Funds raised help the Howard Young Foundation support local hospice needs. Visit MinocquaDragonBoat.com today.
Cracks in brick, cracks in block. Call SureDry. Leaning or bowing basement walls? Call SureDry. Sticking windows or doors? Call SureDry. Settling or sinking foundation? That's right. Call SureDry. It's a fact. Foundation problems don't get better with time. They get better with SureDry. Schedule your free estimate today.
Our local shelters have lots of furry friends in need of loving homes. Watch Newswatch 12 today, every Friday morning, to see a new cuddly cat or dog ready for you to adopt. Homeward Bound on Newswatch 12 today is sponsored by Paws and Claws.
Mark, a little help here? Oh, keep it down. The noise is making them angry.
Whoa. Hey, I'm not a beekeeper, but I can replace these windows fast.
Let Feldco be the experts in your home renewal. Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Plus, no interest for 1 year. And we'll get it done Feldco fast.
Buy one window, get one free, and soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Jake, I can't believe how big this place is.
American Marine Showroom is so big, you can literally run around the 3 giant showrooms of boats and pontoons.
I mean, it's huge.
We will beat any competing price by $500 and we'll match deposits up to $1,000. There is so much summer fun left. Make it even better by picking out your new boat from the biggest selection and biggest showroom in the USA, only at American Marine Shawano.
All right, welcome back as we get things started after this morning. Many people are setting up for ridiculous days over in downtown Rhinelander. Here's the first little bit of that setup taking place, as we can see from our sky cam over on the roof of Mel's Trading Post in downtown Rhinelander. We'll see a lot more businesses and a lot more crowds coming up soon as things get going there. But for now, though, here's our sky cam from the roof of the station, zoomed into the flagpole in downtown also. And there's a little bit of a breeze out there as well. So overall, not too bad this morning, as Old Glory is waving proudly this morning. But meanwhile, though, we're watching a few showers and storms moving through parts of the UP this morning. It's pretty much moving through parts of the Marquette area now. But for us, though, there's some clouds currently tracking through this morning and some sunshine mixed in. Also, meanwhile, though, we're kind of lucky. Look what's going on in parts of Iowa and also in parts of Missouri. Also, lots of rainfall in here. I know we could use the rain as well, but not like this where it's training over the same areas. When a storm trains over the same area like this, so flash flooding becomes an issue. So you have storms that are just developing and moving over the same spots over and over again. And that's why there are some flash flood alerts posted there. But for us, though, we do not have to worry about that. We are going to be watching this next system out to the north and west here. That'll be moving in our direction. Now that'll give us some chances for showers and thunderstorms coming up this afternoon. Very small chances overall, but still some chances that we'll need to monitor. So futurecast for today, though, some clouds, some sunshine mix, a few showers and storms possible during the afternoon period as you get the peak daytime heating hours. But later on time, most of this will start to back off, but the clouds will hold on with a few more showers and thunderstorms on the way as we head towards tomorrow also. But notice by tomorrow night and the parts of Friday morning, a lot of this starts to back off. And then as we start to wrap up the work week, Friday will start off on a nice note. Otherwise, so the storm threat for today looks a little bit like this. A marginal threat for some of the storms that turn strong to perhaps severe. So maybe some gusty winds and some small hail with that before we all finish up. This is a 1 out of 5 risk today, so we'll make sure to keep an eye on that as it does develop. But otherwise, so temperatures, upper 50s in Land O'Lakes, lower 60s in Manitowish Waters, lower 60s in many other spots also, including upper 50s being reported in Rome this morning over in Adams County. Our average high temperature is 79 degrees. We'll do the lower 80s today, middle 80s for your Thursday, lower 80s again for your Friday and Saturday, and then middle to upper 70s Sunday, Monday, and also into your Tuesday. So a nice little cool down on the way as we head towards next week, so that'll be pretty nice too. The UV index forecast for today will be at a 4, so it's down a bit because of the clouds expected. Moderate UV index though, so a burn time of 45 minutes. So a hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, shade will be necessary to avoid a bad sunburn. Allergies are up there as well. Tree pollen currently in the moderate category. Grass and weed pollen not too bad in the low category, but mold, that's a moderate. That's expected to go to the high category coming up later on. So a forecast for today, partly cloudy, some scattered thunderstorms possible with highs reaching for the lower 80s and southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, partly cloudy with a few thunderstorms out there again, especially early. They'll start to back off late with lows in the lower 60s and the wind overall looking nice and calm. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. A few more storms for your Thursday. Highs in the mid 80s. Some lower 80s on the way Friday to Saturday as we're looking dry. Some storms possible Sunday, temperatures in the 70s. And then Monday and Tuesday, not too bad, partly cloudy and temperatures in the 70s.
Feel great today with Jessica Jukich.
Summertime brings more people to the lakes, so we see an increase in population alone for that, and of course a lot more water-related injuries.
Dr. Rick Mayer is an emergency physician at Aspirus. He says the emergency department handles traumatic injuries.
On the more severe side, it's going to be the horrible car accidents or falls off of roofs or boating accidents or snowmobile accidents and heart attacks and strokes and horrible things like that. All the different ailments like pneumonias, congestive heart failure, kidney stones, and really serious behavioral health issues too.
Less serious illnesses can be seen at an urgent care or walk-in clinic.
Walk-in clinic, supposed to be more about things you would go to your doctor for, but it's an unplanned illness, earache, toothache, maybe some rash and things like that, or perhaps some mild injuries, things where you wouldn't need a whole bunch of x-rays or CAT scans.
The emergency department is swamped in the summer, so Dr. Mayer says use your best judgment. He says they see a spike in water injuries along with heat illness and alcohol-related accidents.
Not the good time to go picking up your chainsaws and doing chores and things like that. Staying well hydrated is super important, and it's sneaky because you're in the lake, you're out of the lake, you feel like you're kind of cool, but alcohol use make you more vulnerable to heat-related illnesses.
Dr. Mayer says people should drink plenty of water and get out of the sun if you start getting cramps, nausea, or a headache.
That's oftentimes the heat illness starting, and you can intervene quickly by just getting out of the sun, cooling down, making sure you're not getting right back at it again to get that project done. You know, take the break and realize that we're governed by the laws of nature just like every other machine that we work, and we have to take care of ourselves.
That's it for this week's edition of Feel Great Today. I'm Jessica Jukic.
And coming up, we'll share why today might be a great day to get into your creative spirit with some art.
But first, Howard is in the Mr. Food Test kitchen with a recipe for Asian lettuce wraps.
Mr. Food Test Kitchen is brought to you by Golden Carrot Jewelers and Rhinelander Cafe and Pub.
How many times have you been to a restaurant and had a dish that was so good that you said to yourself, I wish I could figure out how to make this at home? Well, if you've ever said that about Asian-style lettuce wraps, which are super popular right now, you're in luck. That's right. We've created a copycat version that I know you're going to love. We start by sauteing some ground beef with chopped onion and a bit of salt and pepper. After it's browned, we add some hoisin sauce, soy sauce, sesame oil, chopped pickled ginger, and minced garlic. We let this simmer for a bit so all the flavors come together. And as for where you can find the Asian-inspired ingredients, just check out the ethnic section at your market. Now all that's left to do is spoon this onto a leaf of Bibb or leaf lettuce, top it with some grated carrot and shredded cucumber, along with your favorite Asian dipping sauce, and you're done. These taste super fresh, and they're right on trend with all those low-carb, high-protein diets. To get the recipe for our Asian lettuce wraps, all you need to do is head over to our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a restaurant copycat way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. Isn't that delicious?
It's open season on cancer. Help us raise money for the Ronald McDonald House of Marshfield by purchasing a hat, an H2O Go bottle, or other special items. With your donation of $20, you'll receive over $50 in valuable coupons, and a $10 donation is given to the Ronald McDonald House. Purchase items at Cost Cutters of Central Wisconsin, the Barber's Family Hairstyling, Mullins Cheese in Knowlton, Chase Outdoors in the Cedar Creek Mall. It's open season on cancer, a season that never ends.
Get 11% off everything at Menards. Update your garage with a Genie Garage Door Opener. This powerful, lightweight, belt-driven model is ultra-quiet, making it the perfect choice for you. This 1-horsepower Genie Garage Door Opener is just $189.99 after rebate. Clean up your garage with Libman Cleaning Supplies. The 18-inch push broom comes in smooth, rough, and multi-surface models to accommodate your cleaning needs. An 18-inch push broom is just $889 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Put more play in your day. Visit Imaginuity, the specialty toy store in downtown Minocqua and Rhinelander. Exciting games, challenging puzzles, and unique toys. Explore a universe of play possibilities for all ages. Imaginuity.
Hey, hey! You're tuned in to Better Halves.
Skip, I love my hometown, and I want a health plan that feels the same way. So, what are your favorite local date spots?
Oh, yeah, I know like all the date spots in Eau Claire.
Jane, I'm Steve from Security. I've lived here in Wisconsin my whole life, and that means I understand your health coverage needs better.
By the way, Doug, it's Eau Claire. I have a dozen Eclairs in my dressing room.
Moondeer and Friends Gallery in downtown Boulder Junction offers an eclectic mix of contemporary fine art and craft, antiques, professional custom frame service, and many other smaller gift items, featuring the work of gallery owner Sarah Mender, as well as over 150 other regional artists.
And welcome back, everybody. Do you like to color, Jackie? Because perhaps secret Pablo Picasso over here?
I mean, I like to color, but I can't really draw anything. But it's a good time for folks in the Northwoods to release their inner artist, because Wednesday is National Coloring Book Day. The hobby is not just common with kids anymore. Adult coloring has become a big trend. Not only is it fun, it's a healthy way to relax and lower stress. So grab your crayons, markers, colored pencils, whatever you use, and a friend, and celebrate the day by buying a new coloring book, or create your own by finding some coloring pages online to print for free. I do like coloring. I love like the adult coloring books with like the intricate details and stuff. And
there we go.
My choice of medium is that, I guess it's probably what's called the medium. I like colored pencils.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think medium is the material which you draw on, but yeah.
Same, you know what I mean,
Exactly, yeah, you get the colored pencils. Colored pencils are so much easier to use than crayons, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. So I know erasable colored pencils are really helpful when you make a mistake.
Yes.
Like Tom at Tom's Drawing Board, I'm a painting guy. I like to paint. It's fun.
Yeah, right. And I know I painted a couple paintings as well. In fact, Tom still has them right now because I need some maintenance done on them too. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes paintings need a little bit of help after they just sit for a bit. So, so we'll get that fixed up very soon as well. But one thing I'm sure you guys are also ready for a fixing of.
Some trivia. It looks like a colorful trivia question today for National Coloring Book Day.
Yeah, how appropriate, right? I didn't even know about that. So what color appears in the middle of a rainbow? Is it green, red, purple, or orange? The answer when we come back.
This portion of Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Northwoods Furniture, Eagle River.
Attention homeowners, we're looking for 50 homeowners who need a new bath or shower. We want to evaluate our custom bathing solutions in real homes for safety and convenience. Call Mad City Baths, Wisconsin's #1 remodeler and trusted local source for American-made baths and showers installed in as little as 1 day. And with our price lock guarantee, we'll guarantee your price for 1 year. Now 50 homeowners will save. Receive free installation of a new bath or shower. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. Senior and military discounts, plus call during this program and receive a free $50 Walmart gift card with your in-home estimate.
Don't forget, Mad City is also Wisconsin's trusted local source for energy-efficient replacement windows and kitchen cabinet refacing. We're proud to be A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
Absolutely a good investment because we're happy.
Mad City has more than 50,000 satisfied customers and an A+ rating with the BBB. We can replace your old outdated bathtub with a beautiful walk-in shower or new walk-in tub, installed in as little as 1 day, infused with Microban antimicrobial protection for easy cleaning. And now 50 homeowners will receive special savings. Free installation of a new bath or shower. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. Senior military discounts. Plus, if you call Mad City Baths now during this program, you'll receive a free $50 Walmart gift card with your in-home estimate. From Wausau in north central Wisconsin, call with zip code and location to qualify. 715-941-4238. That's 715-941-4238.
We're the Packers Scratch Game crew, bringing back Packers Scratch Games for you. The pack is back. New Scratch Games are here with 4 seasons season tickets you could win for a year. There's instant cash prizes and other bonus drawing surprises.
Packer Scratch games are back with instant cash prizes up to $30,000 and a bonus drawing for 4 season tickets for 1 year. Prices range from $1 to $10. Available now at all Wisconsin lottery retailers.
We're not kidding. Somebody will be winning 4 season tickets for a year.
Builder Service. We are your hometown hardware store. Plumbing, electrical, paint, automotive, keys, tools, lawn and garden. We're more than just a lumberyard. Highway 45 in Elko.
And a special birthday shout out to our country store winner this morning, Sue McPartland from Eagle River. Happy birthday and congratulations. You won a free ice cream cone and scoop from the country store in Eagle River.
Trivia for today. What color appears in the middle of a rainbow?
I think it's green.
You think it's green?
Purple, Devin. Going purple.
Michael's going purple. All right, the answer is green. Jackie with the win today. Yes.
I was doing some, because I think purple's the last color.
Yeah, I believe it's one of the last colors of the rainbow.
I think red's the first.
Red is the first, and yellow's like the second or third or something like that. So yellow's kind of right next to green, though, so it's kind of close to the middle as well.
My preschool knowledge has come in handy in my early 20s.
There you go. Right? But meanwhile, though, if you're going outside today, though, I mean, if it storms, you might get lucky and see a rainbow, but also see Ridiculous Days getting ready for that this morning. No, over in downtown, so check it out. And I think that's going pretty much all day long from, I think, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. is what I was told. So definitely get out there and enjoy the many great deals and just be out in the community as well, support all the local businesses. But meanwhile, though, the flag waving proudly in downtown Rhinelander this morning, as we do have some sun peeking out. We do have a chance for a few storms on the way for us today, as we have a little boundary nearby that'll be moving through. That will back off a bit tonight, and Thursday a few more storms possible. Friday and Saturday we're looking pretty good. We're dry with temperatures in the 80s, but some more clouds Saturday. Some storms Sunday and dry Monday and a Tuesday. Notice the cool down next week too. Some free AC courtesy of Mother Nature. So I think our electric bills are about to get a little bit of a break if you've been running the AC. But meanwhile, though, I know for me though, I mean, I've been running AC a little bit. But
yeah, we just got to get through that 85, and then we have a little decent cool down, which will be very much appreciated.
That will be very nice. Give the ACs a break.
But I mean, you can always go out, enjoy yourself on the water. You know, it's always good to take a swim, especially now that the smoke's leaving our way.
Yes, it's gone. Smoke is gone.
Perfect.
Yeah, so now you just got to keep an eye out for some of the storms.
Yes, right?
Exactly. That's not one thing, Devin. It just seems like it's another.
One thing or another, right?
Absolutely.
Welcome to the Midwest.
Right.
Absolutely. But thanks for joining us here on Newswatch 12 today. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have a great day.
Howard Young Urgent Care. Get in, get out, get well.
Good Wednesday morning. Donald Trump indicted again.
Accused in a crime against America and democracy itself. It is August 2nd. This is today. Charged, the former president facing 4 new criminal counts over his efforts to remain in office after losing the 2020 election.
An unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies.
The 45-page indictment laying out the case against him, starting on Election Day and culminating on January 6th. Trump now ordered to appear in court. This morning, the reaction, the impact on the 2024 race, and our one-on-one with Mr. Trump's attorney. In court, the suspected Long Island serial